First thing I want to do is give honor and praise to my Creator, all of it. I don't worship the sun, moon, and stars or anything like that, or any idol. Or I want to make a comment. There's a guy named David Bose that's got a YouTube video channel. He's really a sharp guy. He's got a pretty big following. He says that the God YHWH is a mean, cruel God. He still talks about God the Father and all that, but he says that's Satan. Well, I'll disagree because when you break that name down, it's a tetragrammaton. When you break that name down, the letters, it's a picture language. When you break it down, it gives a complete description of who the Most High is. It's the character of El Elyon, the Most High, the pure light. Nothing can get above that light. Nothing can get at the ends of this light. Nothing can penetrate that light. When God separated the dark from the light, the dark light could not comprehend that pure light. And that's who YHVH is, a representation of El Elyon. And then that YHWH, some people say YHVH, some say YHWH. I believe it was YHWH, Wah. But anyway, when you get down to that, when you break it down to the meanings of those tetragrammatons, the Yod-Hey, Wah-Hey is how it's pronounced according to our English. And maybe the Hebrew too. But anyway, it's when El Elyon was pure masculine light, the Most High. When he started his creation, the representative of El Elyon in the the personal side has feminine aspects, because there's no way we could exist here on this earth without a feminine and masculine, because the chicken and the egg tells us this because a chicken is the feminine. If that chicken lays an egg, the egg will just sit there. I mean, nothing will ever happen until the masculine fertilizes that egg. So anyway, I said all that to say this. I disagree with this guy. Um, people's free to think what they want to. I'm all for them free thinking. And another video I'm gonna do is on the governor, the law, the how God governs. He created us to have a free will, to have no king over us. But Israel began to want a king, so God said, "All right, if y'all want a king to rule over you, I'm going to give you a king." And God gave them King Saul, an Israelite, and that was a bad mistake, because then it started the process. The next king, King David, which was God's greatest king until Jesus Christ comes, was trying to make up a little bit, you might say, as to the damage that Saul caused, because Saul became jealous of King David even before King David became a king, and it was just a horrible mess. So that's why God wanted us. He created man to have free will to rule over themselves, not to depend on the government, and depend only on him, and YHVWH or YHVH, however you want to say it, But that ain't what this video is about. This video is about is I done this video already. It was about an hour long, and I looked over there and my recorder had shut off, so hopefully it's still going. The heavens declare the glory of God, and skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day poureth forth speech. Night after night they reveal knowledge. The denomination I grew up in, and I'm not talking bad about my denomination, because I have a lot of family members. I've had preachers in my family, and they're going to disagree with me because they're just like I was. It took me 4 times to see that the King James Bible was translated, and it's ink on paper. It's been translated. That the original word of God has been translated thousands of times, and King James is no exception. Um, I was told not to not stray away from that King James Bible and all that. And with the material that we had, that I had growing up, was there were some people that done commentaries, Schofield and some of them in those Bibles. Some people that thought they were scholars, probably was scholars, but they're they're they attach us to the King James Bible and stuff, and I appreciate the King James Bible. I'm not bad in it. I'm just saying it's translation, and it's came from King James, which was a Catholic. Your church, your denomination is a branch from that Catholic church, because the Catholic Church was the very first church after the Apostle Peter. Okay, and they got it all wrong. They believe that God. Jesus said, "I'll build my house, build my church upon this rock." Talking about, they mistranslated that. But anyway, uh, your denomination, no matter how you want to look at it, no matter how mad you want to get at me, is a branch from off the Vatican, the Catholic Church. King James was a Catholic. He got a lot of scholars to translate the Bible. They said he wanted to do it right, but when they got through with it, he gave the Bible over to Sir Francis Bacon, a Mason. King James was a Mason. George Washington, our president, was a Mason. And the 33-degree Masons and the 32nd degree Masons all have elevated to the worship of Lucifer, the serpent that deceived Eve. Okay, that's what happens when you get up in them high degree Masons. By then they've done been deceived into thinking that the serpent that deceived Eve was the real God that set man free. And I'll tell you one thing. Here's how I see it: that whenever Adam and Eve were here, they couldn't see evil. It was like Job. God had a protection around them where you couldn't see. The evil was contained to a different place, and maybe in smaller amounts. And Adam and Eve couldn't see it until they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. When they seen the evil, when they disobeyed God, some people say that was a sex thing and all that. No, it was disobedience. That's what happened. It wasn't Eve, because Satan was the most crafty beast in the field. It wasn't. I believe God would have went on. If Adam hadn't eaten it, Adam committed treason when he ate it because he knew better. He was the first creation, and some people say there was him and Lilith was created at the same time, and that's I'm gonna say that's a possibility that there was a. But I really think that when they seen the evil, because God changes people's names. He changed Abram's name to Abraham. He changed Sarai's name to Sarah, because it changed their personality. It changed their symbol, because this world operates on symbols. A picture language, the Paleo Hebrew or the ancient Hebrew, it evolved kind of, the letters turned, and even it got broken down to our English. RA represents the Aleph. It's a strong ox. And there's some things coming up, and that's one reason I'm doing this video, because whenever I started seeing that the heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. The heavens tell the glory of God, and skies announce what his hands have made. Day after day, they tell the story. Jesus said, when you see these signs in the heavens, look up. Well, my denomination teaches me that if you go by the sun, moon, and stars, you're going into an evil astrology. You stay away from that. Now, I believe there's a fine line between the divination of looking at the star, moon, and skies, because there's always a positive and a negative. And so there is a fine line that I don't plan on ever crossing that fine line. I'm going the biblical way, the scripture way of what the Bible tells me. There's the heavens declare. They're telling me something. They're showing me signs. And even in Genesis, they're for dates, announcements, times, and seasons, and festivals. for the feast days. They declare the feast days, like the Feast of Trumpets, the Feast of Tabernacles. And when you start researching this out, you start seeing all these signs that's happened lately: the tetrad blood moons, the eclipses that's been happening, the September 23rd sign. It fulfilled Revelation 12 prophecy to the T. I mean, it made it in a, the most churches disregard this as uh, divination. But I'm gonna show you through this video. I may have to make it in parts because it's gonna be a long video. But I'm gonna show you how they tell the story and the signs in the heavens. But I just wanted to read the scripture because of that's what the Bible says to do, to look up. Like um, even in Luke, there shall be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. There'll be signs, like a sign. What is a sign? It's something you read, you see, you observe, you analyze. A sign, you interpret it. So if there's signs going on up in the heavens, I want to see it. I want to interpret it, try to interpret it, because I want to know when this age is going to end, because I'm ready for it to end. And I see it getting closer and closer every day. And there's some things coming up that I believe it's when there's some dates, and I'm not going to ever predict a date. No, not even close, because everybody's been wrong, about all these rapture setters. Now, I do believe there's a rapture, a catching away coming to the called out ones, to the marked ones of God. So anyway, but I'm going to get on with this, or this video is going to be way long. All right. We've all seen the King Charles get coronated. He got coronated on a lunar eclipse in the constellation of Scorpio. And in the early translations, there will be signs, it said, there will be signs in the sun, moon, and constellations. Most of the Bible says stars, but some of the first translations was there will be sign in the constellations. So hey, folks, I was, I'll admit I was wrong and I was taught wrong, and it's by no fault of really the church. It's just that God said there'll be a great deception at the end of time, and that's what we're in, that great deception. Okay, Queen Elizabeth. King Charles was coronated as king on May 5th, I think it was, the total lunar eclipse in the constellation of Scorpio. She was born April 21st, 1926. First off, I'm going to go here, and here's her birth chart. And at the very moment she was born, y'all see the pyramid, the red one? Red usually stands for war, like the star Mars. But she makes a perfect pyramid, and there's a lot of symbolism. This place, we're a symbol. We are a geometric figure, electrical, and we're vibrating. That's how we exist. But I'm not going to go into all that. Well, so I want to see what's going on here, because she had a huge double conjunction, triple conjunction, and another double conjunction. That means, well, let me go back and you can see right here that there's a pattern here that made when she was born. There's a pattern here. And it looks like she built like there's like a bridge type thing here, an X right here. But this is what's significant, is that pyramid, that red one. And I showed y'all my granddaughters had made a perfect blue. Excuse me just for a second. Hello? I was trying to make a little short video. Yeah, well, is it what is it? Okay. Okay, well, oh, no. Yeah, yeah, I understand that. Okay, hey, where you at? You there? Okay. All right. Well, be careful. All right. I love you. Bye. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Um, so you see, we're created with light cells, not atoms. They're cells of light. So this is showing sun, moon, and stars is projecting light and frequency and vibration down here when we're born, all through our life. And I'm going to show you that there's a pattern in this that you can read. All right, I showed you the shape, and now I'm going to show you this right here. King Charles was coronated. This is huge right here for Queen Elizabeth. 2-2. I mean, y'all see the 2-2-2s and the 1-3-3-3-3. Those are all symbolism of Donald Trump does them. Elon Musk that uses these 22s. But here's the parts. She has a Scorpio signature to sting you with. All right. This has probably went away. Okay, this is her, the night she was born. The sun is on Cetus, the sea monster, the Leviathan. The sun really represents Jesus, like Jesus Christ. Well, Mercury's the messenger. He's on the tail of this Leviathan. The sun is. God told Satan in the Garden of Eden, the seed of the woman's going to crush your head, and you're going to strike his foot like a scorpion's going to strike with its tail. That's what scorpions do. So that's a huge when she was the night she was born. But what the moon is in Leo the lion, that represents the line of the tribe of Judah, Jesus Christ. And here is Saturn in the scales of judgment, because Satan is used as judgment. Saturn stands for, represents, in the biblical view, Saturn represents Satan. So what's in the scales? It's showing you the judgment that this family is the part of this judgment coming upon this earth. But here's what really, what people don't understand about this Capricorn is it's a half and half. Half of one animal, half of another. A chimera, and the third strand DNA that some of us have on this earth, that we were sent here, and we're not fully human. And you can disagree all you want, and I mean, only one person really believed Elijah when he told him he's going to leave this earth. Okay, only one person did. So 8 people got on the ark, but because Noah was a chimera, he was a son of God. And that's what I'm saying about the King James Bible. You have to, if you use that King James Bible, you have to get a reference Bible that goes back to the original language and see what the words meant when God spoke them, because they've been translated. I'm telling you, they've been translated. Well, here's Jupiter, and let me go back so you can see this. I want to make sure everybody sees everything that's going on here. All right, there's Mars and Jupiter. There was a conjunction of Mars. Mars stands for war, and Jupiter stands for the king planet. They call it a planet, it's a star. But there was a conjunction there, like the war on the king planet. So, anyway, I just want to show you that. Now, I want to go on to her son. I'm going to try to make this quick. King Charles. Y'all have to bear with me. I've done this video once. He was born on November 14th, 1948. November 14th, 1948. Let's see what his stuff, see what it shows, because this is our character is being created. And you can go even further. You can go back into the 9 months of the, and see when that spark happened, what happened. And that really tells you the story. It says 1948. 1948, November, and November 14th. And he was born in London, England. Because some people saying he's the Antichrist, and he very well could be I'm just gonna put this at noon because this don't mean a whole lot right here. The time, I think he was born at 9:40 p.m. I think's what it was. Let me go ahead and edit that. 9:40 p.m. is when he was born. But he made an very unusual chart. A lot of transits going on here. He's got a huge red line. Look here, see, this is there's Jupiter, the king planet. That red line, it's there's I think it's Neptune. The star Neptune is opposite of Jupiter and Mars. See, there's the conjunction that happened in Queen Elizabeth's thing too, right there. So see, it's how this is telling you a story. There's almost a conjunction. They're in the same house, you might say, and this is King Charles's. So this is telling you like it's showing you the generation. It's showing you the DNA, and he's made a cut. His this red line is really huge to me because it's like you see that Neptune tried in everywhere these days, fighting, going against the king planet. All right, now I want to go here to he was 1948 because this shows the patterns. It shows the patterns of your DNA. And 14. I'm going to go ahead and 9:40 p.m. That would be, I think that's close enough because it's going to show you right here. All right, see the judgment is the sun is in Libra, but look where Mars is at. Mars is on the heaven's golden gate, the war on heaven, and there is the rider on the white horse right there of the king planet of everybody's interpreting that wrong in Revelation 6. This is Sagittarius is the rider on the white horse. He's shooting an arrow towards Scorpio, the heart of aimed right at the heart of the scorpion, which stands another representation of Satan. And there Mars is right there on the ecliptic of heaven's golden gate. And Venus is in the womb of, there's where we all came from. If you're children of God, we came from this womb right here, no matter what sign you were born in. Mercury is the announcer. Just like when Queen Elizabeth was born, the sun was on the head of the sea monster, Leviathan. The seed of the woman's gonna crush your head, Satan. That's what it's saying. But look where Saturn's at, right in the heart, nearly of Jesus Christ, the line of the tribe of Judah, because that's what Leo stands for. Satan is right there going to make war. So this guy really, but I think it'd be more Prince William that would be the lawless one, the man of sin, because I'll show you on his birth chart what happens. Now I'm going to try to go through this really quick. All right. I've done videos on this before, and but I think it's becoming more relevant these days. After all this has happened, he's born June 21. He was born in the sign of Gemini. I think that's what he was. June 21, 1982. June 1982. See, him and his grandma was born on the same day, different months. She was born on April 21st. He was born on June 21st. So it's and he was born in England too. And I'm just going to leave it 12 noon because it's going to be close. All right, let's see his creation, his character. He's got a pretty he's got a war against the sun and the moon. See the red line that goes up there? That's what it looks to me like. And he's got like this X pattern. Y'all seen that in Queen Elizabeth and even in Charles's. It's like there's like a platform type thing there. And the little connectors here that shows red, and I'm not saying I know this for 100%, but the red connectors here, sometimes they're blue and sometimes they're red. And there's the king planet right down here again at 29 degrees, like that this is part of a war, showing part of a war. But this is not the main thing. This here is he had a quadruple conjunction and a double conjunction. That quadruple right there is huge. That was I mean, it's huge. And I'm not an astrologer, I just see the patterns and want to show you the patterns. And he is his signature is a Gemini, which is a god, the two-faced god. That's what the Gemini, one of the things Gemini, the name is Janus. If you want to go look it up, Janus, the two-faced god. And he's supposed to be he's the negative of the gatekeepers. That's what Janus, the god, does, is watches the gates, manages the gates of heaven and hell, whatever. He may be the gatekeeper of hell, but see what else was in there. And he has an air sign of 59.20, whatever that means, I really don't know, but oh yeah, I was going to, yeah, he has a Gemini signature, a God signature. So, all right, I want to look here when he was born, 1982. Some people say Harry's the Antichrist, the man of sin. I don't know if he is a Mason though. All right, he was born June 6th. And all these people were born on either total lunar or solar eclipse. All this family was. And he was born on 21. Okay, the time there is, let me go. He was born on an eclipse, a lunar eclipse. He's kind of been hid. Right there, there was just an eclipse. A lunar eclipse happened. And the moon was at 0, if I can get it to moon, 0%. So he was born on a dark moon, a Lilith moon, some call it, a dark moon, in a conjunction with the sun, a eclipse. And Venus right here is Mercury is in the, right here in the Taurus, the bull, which stands for ox, the strength of an ox, like God. Mercury's announcing something right here to representation of the ox, the Aleph, the very first letter of the Hebrew picture language. Venus is right by the Pleiades. The Pleiades are called the seven sisters, the seven churches, or seven angels of the seven churches. And so Venus is huge here. And I've not really figured Venus out yet because for sure, I mean, I got my kind of own ideas about Venus, but it's in these charts, they show it's really significant. They're, all right, I'm going to go over. All right, look in the womb of Virgo, Saturn. There's Satan being born right there. Satan's been born right there. And there's the king planet right there. And Mars is right there at this womb. Here's Mars and Saturn's in the womb. Mars and the king planet. So see, this tells a story to me. And I still don't rule Donald Trump out for sure, but I think he may be the grand wizard, the grand witch that's preparing the way, kind of like the Elijah. I mean, because they're following this. I'm telling you, the rulers of this world are following this Bible, the scriptures, right down to the T. They watch the signs. They go by the sun, moon, and stars, and then they hide it from you, the church. The churches, I mean, there's not 1 out of 10 people in the church that can get converted to the real truth. And because I want nothing but the real truth. Every bit of truth that I can get is what I want. I don't want nothing false, and they have deceived and deceived and deceived me. And even the churches are deceived. I never knew that I went to like Assembly of God type church. I never knew that was a branch off the Vatican, off the Catholic Church. And y'all can get mad at me if you want to. I don't care. I care what God wants. And I got to tell the truth. And it took me 3 or 4 times to see and read who we really was. We're a branch from the Vatican. And if you don't, we're a branch off the Vatican. My grandmother took me to church everywhere. She's a woman in heaven. I'm not saying nobody's going to heaven or hell. because they're going to church. I mean, God says to forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. So, you know, so I'm not coming against the church. I'm saying there's some deception has happened in your church, in my church, and 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 sometimes it was like me. It took me 4 times reading. The fourth time I read that King James was a Mason, was a Catholic from the Vatican, and that when he got through with the Bible, he gave it to Sir Francis Bacon, a 33rd degree Mason that was a word specialist. Just like if you go, I think it's if you go take the King James Bible, test it. You have to test everything. God says test everything. Study to show thyself approved. You know, that's what Second Timothy says. Study to show, Paul said in Second Timothy, study to show yourself approved. So I say study, when you look at that King James Bible, you better have you a Greek and Hebrew lexicon or something to go to the original language, or you're not going to understand the true God like you should. I know everybody. I know there's a lot of Christians out there and a lot of good people, and a lot of them's going to heaven. But if you don't have the original language, that's what I'm saying. It took me. I read that like 3 times about the King James Bible, and I researched it 3 or 4 times, and I kept saying no, no, no. The King James Bible was not. I'm not to stray away from that. But the 4th time that I read, researched that again because it did not resonate with. I mean, it was something kept resonating differently, saying, Travis, you need to check this out again because there's something not right. You've been taught a lie. You've been not on purpose, but you've been taught a lie. I mean, out of the goodness of people's heart, they think the King James Bible is the only one. Now, I want somebody these the church people, I want somebody to explain to me why you've got that belief, why that you believe that the King James Bible is the only Bible. That is not the only Bible. It hides the Greek and Hebrew language from you and me. In the situation we were in growing up, it hides it. It don't really hide it, but you need a reference to the original. And all the Bibles we had did not really give you a reference to the Greek and Hebrew, because those Greek and Hebrew languages are really different. I mean, the meanings and stuff are really different. It explains to you. And for all of the ones that say that there's not, that if you're a Kabbalah, that you're into this Kabbalah about the mathematical system and all that stuff, and they say that's satanic. If it is, I want to know the satanic rules, because I'm going to beat them satanic rules. So the only way you can do that is understand the science of God, the creation. And you can't really fully understand it, but you can take that. Some people, numerology come from the Hebrew Kabbalah, is where it comes from. But when you start seeing that there's patterns of the geometric vibrations that we really are in an avatar body, in a human body, made from the dust of the earth, we're like almost, I hate to say it this way, but we're really like a computer in a human form that can have free will. And well, I'm gonna end this video, and I've got another video I want to do about this more today, what's happening today in the sun, moon, and stars. But y'all see the pattern. Hopefully, I made it clear enough, because I'm not, I'm not a very good speaker and all that stuff, and sometimes, I mean, you speed your video up to get through with it faster, because sometimes I know I talk slow, but I'm just saying that you see the pattern with the family, the DNA of each family member in these charts, and their signs in the sun, moon, and stars, signs in the sun, moon, and constellations. So I'm saying you need to research it. I don't care what anybody's taught you. Folks, we accepted the reality that was handed to us. This is to all my family that goes to church or don't go to church or whatever. We accepted what our grandparents, our parents, we accepted that as truth. And to them it was truth, but is it the real truth? Were they deceived? Some of them were, to an extent, and a great extent at that, because if you go to Revelations, I think it's 18:23 or maybe 23:18. It says, by all the great merchants of the earth, They will be deceived. The world will be deceived by their sorceries. That's what the King James Bible says. By the great merchants of the earth. They're talking about Walt Disney, like DuPont, whoever, Walmart, and things such as that. Names such as that. The great merchants of the earth. Pfizer, some of the pharmaceutical people. Well, when you read the King James and it says sorceries, that's all it says. Well, you think of witchcraft, Ouija boards, that type of stuff. You know what the original word there is? The original word in the Greek is pharmakia, pharmacy. The great merchants are going to deceive you with their pharmacy. See, so that's what the King James Bible does. It don't lead you to all the truth. You can be mad at me or whatever. I got to present what I believe God has me to present to my family, to whoever. 8 people believe Noah. 1 people believed Elijah, and he really didn't believe. Elisha didn't really have the faith to go with Elijah. So there was some doubt there. Like Jesus one time when he he made everybody, even some of the apostles, stay outside. He was going to heal somebody, that was either dying or with demon possessed. And Jesus knew the ones that had a little bit of doubt, and he would not let anyone go in that house with him because of the doubt, of the, so, I mean, or it wouldn't have happened. So Jesus knew the steps to take, he knew who the people was. And Jesus' real name, the Hebrew name is Yeshua, which means salvation. There's no salvation in any other name. Now, I believe Jesus will be his name here on earth when in 1,000-year millennium. I believe that'll be the name, because God takes what's meant for evil and uses it for the good. But in the mathematical system, Jesus's value is 888, which is a new beginning, a new beginning, a new beginning. So, and some people, there's a couple guys on the internet. I ain't gonna mention their names, and they're all about this, the name of Jesus being, and they're against that Kabbalah. Yeah, that Kabbalah gets into Satanism, if you ask me. But there is a true part of that Kabbalah system. There is a true part, or we could not exist without the mathematical system. Everything has to have value. The table of elements has a number associated with each one. So does the Hebrew language. The Hebrew alphabet has a number associated with it. Well, if you associate that number with that letter, then you're called a Kabbalist, which is not true. And I didn't even know what Kabbalahism was. Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, all of them are Kabbalists. They can take it to the wrong side of the signs and the sun, moon, and stars. So anyway, I'm just, there's nobody on this earth. There's not one single person on this earth. Everybody talks just like Elijah and Noah. Everybody thought they were crazy because they said, get on the boat, building a big ark, and everybody thought, it ain't going to rain, it ain't going to rain, you're a crazy old man, stuff like that. That's what they say about me, but I don't care. I got to care what my God thinks, my Creator thinks. And things are happening so fast now that the only person, I want to show you something here. The only person I ever met that was born on my birthday, was named Evelyn. The only person on my birthday I ever met, September the 8th, is a Eve, meaning alive. And her name's Evelyn. So what I'm saying is that it always has something to do with life. Right there's life. Little bird strength. That's the name of Evelyn. There's nicknames it's got Eve in it. Eve and Lynn. So what I mean, that's what I'm saying, that everybody thinks I went off the deep end and being deceived and all that, which is fine, because I care what my Creator says, as successful, and I could be being deceived. I don't leave that. I do not leave anything out, because Satan's the most crafty beast in the field. He did not deceive Adam. Adam committed treason when he partook of that, when he listened, when uh, we don't know the conversation that happened there, but apparently that Adam was standing there when the whole scenario took place, and some say that Adam loved Eve so much that he wasn't going to let her fall by herself. That she was going to fall from God's grace. But I don't believe that would have happened. I believe that the seed, if when Adam was the seed, if he would have, it corrupted that seed in Adam. Women don't have a seed like that. What I'm saying, you can tell that by the egg, the chicken and the egg. You can tell that the seed has to. So because God would not have held it against Eve, because Satan was more crafty than the woman, the one that didn't have the seed. He was smarter than him. Um, in Adam's mind, when he took it, when God created him first, and he named all the animals, and Adam named everything, so he was representation of God here on earth. Adam was the representation of God on earth, but God is a spirit, so the spirit couldn't really exist here without being in a human body like that. So God wanted a creation where you could feel your senses, enjoy your senses and enjoy this place. And they were contained. There was chaos in the world somewhere. God had it contained. He separated the light from the dark, and he put Adam and Eve in the light in the Garden of Eden. Gave them a free will because God has a free will. He wanted man to have a free will. And what I was going to say a while ago about this David Vose guy, he's saying God's a murdering God. God's a YHWH is a murdering God, and he says God even says he's a jealous God. I'll agree. God is a jealous God. You shall have no other gods before him. The Creator God, the Most High. Because Satan wanted the glory from the worship that our Creator, it had to pass through Satan. Satan was the transmitter of that worship. Because Satan had musical instruments. He had trumpets, horns, he had harps and everything was built inside his character, he has some type of body, spiritual body, and Satan was the choir director for God, the Most High. So when YHWH says, I'm a jealous God, yeah, he is. I would be too for my family, for my children. I'm a jealous father. So you can't make me believe that because that says that in the Bible that's wrong. I'm jealous for my kids and grandkids more than any person on this earth, and I admit it. God says not to be jealous, but that's not what he's talking about. You know, so anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming to this video. Um, I got another video I'm gonna try to get done, so I'm just gonna ask you to research everything. Research what I'm telling y'all about the King James Bible. Look up I think it's in Revelations 18 and 23, I believe is the verse. It may be Revelations. No, I don't think there is a Revelations 23. There's 22, but it's got to be Revelations 18 and 23. I believe was the verse of the sorcery. And you tell me what you. I mean, I've done planted the seed with what it really says, so it's going to be hard for you to. It may be kind of hard for you to understand it, but go read that verse where it says about the great merchants of the earth and their sorceries, and what it really, you dig into the etymology of this word, it means witch's compound, like a witch's potion. It's how we're going to be deceived. And you know what happened a couple of years ago? A witch's potion was given to the world. I mean, we will not know what the mark of the beast really is if we don't research the original language. We will not know what the mark of the beast really is unless we research even down to the root of the word. Sometimes it boils down to the last letter of that word till you can find the true meaning. And it's got to be the Greek and Hebrew, or you will never find the true meaning of God in his word. And here's what I'm going to say. Nikola Tesla, the scientist, I've said this before, the he was a physicist. He said that if you want to understand this world, this universe, you have to think in terms of frequency, vibration, and energy. And when you stop to think about it, you have to, and that's how you have to see it, because that's the way it really is. And I'm gonna tell you something. My ears have rang so much lately; they have not stopped. That's a frequency. We're created from a. We are here in this creation by vibration and a frequency. The word. The word is a frequency. It's a hertz, and you see all this about the Schumann resonance and stuff like that, and it's breaking down this frequency. When you do the Schumann resonance, it breaks down our existence, kind of, because we're a projection of light. We're not atoms. That's a scientific. That's why they want you to believe that we're made with atoms, but we're made with cells of light. And if I'm gonna say that the mark of the beast comes, they're going to change. They're going to mark your light. They're going to see it. You're going to have a mark. I mean, it's a charagma. The Greek word is charagma, which means an engraving. A couple of other meanings of the mark. The charagma, some people pronounce it charagma, charagma. That's the Greek word for it. Go look up that word and see, because one point, when you break that charagma down, one of it is meaning is a prick, like a stick, like you get stuck with something. That's one of the meanings of the real word mark in the Bible. So you have to, I mean, there's a vast, and I believe the truth will resonate with you whenever you research that word out. You'll start seeing the word that what really resonates, what's going to be the mark, because they're going to try to trick you into the mark. They're going to try to trick everybody into this mark. And I believe I believe it will be a that in your hand or your forehead, I believe they'll scan you, and you might not even see that mark. You might not can see it except under ultraviolet light or something. But I believe your light will get changed. The color of your fire. We are sparks of fire, sparks of energy, sparks of electricity, plasma. And you may not ever, because Satan's going to, through this these trickery of these words, he's going to try to deceive the whole world, which the Bible says the whole world to be deceived. But I still have to try to explain it from my point of view, is because I believe it'll be your light gets changed, because the angels, the archangels Michael, Gabriel, and them, they are blue, from blue light. That's what their color of light is, blue. If some of us have that blue light in us, they're going to try to change that color, the color of your light. I ain't saying that's 100%. You may see the mark. It may be, this Antichrist figures, he wants worship so bad that he might stamp you to see, want everybody to see that you belong to him. That's probably the most possibility, but I believe it'll be, I'm giving it a 50-50 that it'll be a stamp everyone can see, because to be proud, because Satan's a proud thing, and he's going to want the whole world to see that you belong to him. So it probably will be a like an engraving or something, a stamp, but also the word says a prick, like a needle sticking you. So we got to be real careful. We have to study this. We have to study this out. I mean, I believe there is a lake of fire, and because Satan's going to be thrown in it. And I believe, I've always said all my life, I'll be one of them that gets to throw him in that fire. I ain't going to explain why, but I've said that all my life. I've prayed to my Creator, you got to let me throw him. If Jesus Christ has to pull him out after he throws him in, I want to throw him back in. And I ain't going to tell everybody, my reasoning why I've said that all my life, but that's exactly what I want to do. I might not, that might not happen, but I think it will. I believe it will happen, because I ain't afraid of it. If y'all go to one of my videos, Satan growled at me. You can hear it plain as day. plain as day. It's in a digital form. You know, he come at me when I was trying to record the star, and he growls, and from that star, um, you can hear screams of men and women screaming in the background from this star. And then Satan gets to growling at me. And y'all go back and in some of my videos. I'm gonna upload it again to a new video because time's getting here that you know we're gonna have nobody's gonna tell. There's nobody gonna tell who I am except for me. You know, and it's not on a proud basis. I don't know whether I chose to come here and do this or God chose me to come do it for sure. You know, we really don't know. But that's another thing I want to talk about is I was taught no reincarnation. Once a man is, and he's appointed to once to die. But okay, let's think about that word die. He told Adam and Eve, you will surely die. Now, man has to die once he's created. So did Eve die right then? No, Adam and Eve didn't die right then. So you start looking up the word die in the Hebrew and Greek so you can understand it. I mean, we think of death going to a funeral and being put in a casket, but Adam and Eve didn't get put in no death in no casket when they committed. When God said they'll surely die, God was not talking about right then. See, so you have to look up these words, or you'll never understand it. So I'm not saying there's a real such thing as real reincarnation, but that's what it looks to me like because when Jesus asked the question, "Who do people say that I am?" Well, his disciples went tell him, well, some say you're John the Baptist, some say you're Elijah. And Jesus did not rebuke them. He did not say, no, that would be reincarnation. That don't happen. So it kind of shows you that, you know, that's the way you have to research through your studies and stuff. You have to think these things out and, you know, these questions out. You have to question the scripture. Well, why would Jesus not reprimand them for thinking of reincarnation? Now, I ain't saying that we're reincarnated for real, but I was taught no reincarnation because man's appointed wants to die. But we're eternal spirits, friends, and you know, my friends, we're eternal spirits. We've been alive forever. God says we're not from this world right here. We're not from this earth. So we come through the womb, you know, through the water. God's name, YHWH, also has the meaning of becoming immortal through the water. There's a lot of names for that tetragrammaton, a lot of different meanings because Hebrew is a vast, it's a glorious language when you start researching it, you know, and the Hebrew, they call this Hebrew roots movement thing coming. God said he's going to wake up his people at the end of time. A lot of these people are waking up and they're finding out they're Hebrews. And they, you know, they misinterpret a lot of it, I believe, you know, but they'll get there, you know, to who the King of Kings really is. They'll get to Jesus Christ or they'll get left here and have to suffer, I believe. But I think I think if we stay here much longer on this earth, I think it'll get so strong that who the real King of Kings is, except for some of the Jews. God blinded them because they would not believe, you know, God's people that he chose to do was a stubborn group of people. The Jews, Hebrews, whatever you want to call them, they were set in their ways. And if they ever got in their mind, and then when they mostly from the tribe of Dan, I believe, was the ones who really took on the fallen angels, you know, as their partners in life. And so God blinded the tribe of Dan. He cut them out from, there's 13 tribes of Israel, not 12, there's 13. Just like there's 13 zodiacs, these constellations in the sky, there's 13 of them. It's been hid from you about the constellation of Ophiuchus. Now, these two guys I'm talking about, it says that it's got a YouTube video. I like these two guys. I think they're truthful as they can be, and they have some really good, knowledgeable information, and it really educates you. They've educated me on a lot of stuff, but they say that Ophiuchus was added in there as just crammed in there. No, that's where the golden gate of heaven is, right there. That's the restrainer of what the Bible's talking about. He's holding the serpent, restraining the serpent, and yeah, it's been hidden from us. Is what has really happened about that. You know, about the constellation of Ophiuchus, because it'll line up with the Bible, the scriptures. Hey, thank y'all for coming to my channel. I hope everyone has a great day.